flashlight at the same time.
It is. Okay, we're ready.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you're going to show us the video?
You want to? Well, no,
We're taking
Oh,
video.
We're taking video for everybody,
Oh, okay.
and then they can hear it firsthand.
Okay, so here the market is starting in 1896, stayed below 100 until the 1920s, about 1925, the Roaring 20s as they were called, got all the way up here to this peak of about something over 200, and then it dropped, lost half its value in just a few, well, here, it dropped 33% in only 2 days. It dropped 53% in maybe a week or two or three. It just dropped like a rock, and people literally had been borrowing money heavily because it's only going to go up. And so they've been borrowing money to buy more, and literally people who were deeply in debt, and they were using as their security on that debt the stock, and their broker calls up and says, "Sir, you owe me money because you no longer, the stock that you have with me for security is no longer worth anything. It's dropped half of what it was. You owe me money right now. Please send it." And some of them literally did jump out of the windows.
There are a lot of suicides.
A lot of suicide, yeah.
Cab drivers, people who should have never been in the market got in because the house.
It was hot. It was easy.
Hot.
So, any rate, that's what happened. It dropped 53%, and that was been the worst drop ever happened. That was in 1931, and it did not get back up again until 1954. After World War II, it says finally eclipses the highs reached in 1929. It took 25 years after the crash. So don't put all your money in there, and sure don't borrow money to buy stocks. And so it just kind of runs along here, didn't gain much. It's running along, and it did bounce. I don't see it on here, but it did bounce above 1,000 for a day or two at a time, but it did not get above 1,000 to stay above 1,000 until Ronald Reagan was elected in 1981, or took office in 81. And after he took over, he had free market approach to things, and business felt good. And the market then, from something below 1,000, went on up here, and during his time it was up into here, and it continued on up, and then it was at 10,000 in about 2010. Well, 10,000 was pretty doggone high, but since that time, I would like to show. This little dip here doesn't look very big, but it dropped back. It was at 25,000. And very near 25,000, and it dropped down to 20,000. Again, the blip doesn't look as big because we're on a logarithmic scale. But when you own stock at 25,000 and suddenly it's only worth 20,000, you say, "Oh my goodness." However, I didn't sell a thing then, and I didn't have to sell a thing, and that's what I recommend: is don't ever be in a position where you have to sell at the wrong time. And so people said, "Oh, gee, the stock's just going to keep going down." And as I say, it got down to 20,000. But those who said, "I have courage, the market in the long run will recover," it recovered in only 14 months to over 30,000. And, a jump from 20,000 to 30, a 50% increase in just a little over a year. So the point is, do not get in a position where you have to sell, but be in position to ride it up and maybe take, as we're talking about on the land, occasionally take a little money off the table, because it will not always go up. And you might want to buy a wonderful car. No, don't do that. But buy a home or something worthwhile with that money on the way up.
Okay, Martin.
End of lecture. Go ahead.
If they sell the lots, they'll have the capital gains tax to pay.
That's right.
You know,
Oh,
which
let's
is-
see. That's right. They will. Darn it.
But well, that's they're always going to have the
Yeah.
capital
Well,
gains
they
to
always
pay.
will. You're right.
Yeah.
And they are at this point in a pretty low tax area because they're not making great big money. So it's
Yeah.
the taxes on us are higher than the taxes are on them. So end of lecture. What do you, any questions, class?
You want me to make copies of this for you?
I have made.
Oh, you did.
How many copies did I give you? Annie?
Three.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
well, then she can
she
make more
can
copies.
make more if
Oh,
she
yeah,
wants to,
yeah, No
right?
problem. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Does that little lecture make any sense to you folks?
Definitely.
Yes, we used Schwab to invest recently, and I feel very good about the investments made, but no one can predict the future.
That's right. And so tell me, what did you buy at Schwab?
Philips Conalco stock in a company that makes light bulbs. Philips light bulbs.
Oh, Philips Electric, yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought would be really cool because they've got some cool new products coming out, which I think a lot of people will be interested in buying. But also they work in, they have a really big company that has also been experimenting with biological compounds and stuff like that. I did some research before we bought, and sounds like they got some pretty cool things going on, so I thought that business would be good to invest in.
Sounds good to me. You did invest. That's the old motto: is investigate before you invest, and you did. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, another company we invested in is a gaming software company. Japanese gaming company that Annie?
Chinese.
It made a Chinese company that made some interesting games, for which we also cannot be sure of what they're going to do next, but it's interesting. Had to see how the gaming industry has grown, and we're not really sure where that can go, but we didn't put all our eggs in that basket either, so
Good.
well,
Good.
we'll just see where that goes, and if they make something really incredible, they could make worldwide, world-renowned, kind of revolutionary games, just like movies have been made in the past that have really become very famous. Investment in that company, if they were to make a game or another software that would be very useful or become very famous to a lot of people, that would be a great increase in their stock.
Good.
So yes.
So you've been investigating. That's great.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I think you're doing the right thing. That's what I did. I frankly, my very first investment, I did investigate it. It really looked good to me. It was called General Dynamics, and I think Annie's heard this story more than once. And it was really doing well, and they were in the defense industry, and they had General Boat Company, which are submarines, and General something else that was in nuclear.
Defense Department.
And they proceeded to take at that time the largest bankruptcy in. So my stock became worth zero, but I only had maybe 100 shares, so I took a loss, for a total loss, but it was a total loss of a fairly small amount. And now Warren Buffett says he's done very well, obviously, by picking the right stock and hanging on to it forever, and he buys when they're cheap, and he never sells practically, but he buys when they're cheap and they go up. But his advice to the average investor is, if you don't have time to study it every day, if you got your own business to run, buy the broadest form index fund, which is only going to charge you less than, not 2%, but less than 0.2%, for the purpose of managing your money for you. And it will be the broad form of everything. It'll have some clunkers in it, and it'll have some winners in it, and the average will follow that same chart that Annie just has back there with her. That's the whole market, and it'll not do any better than the market if you're. And the folks that say that they're going to sell, they want to do a special management for you. They say, don't be satisfied with average. But the truth is, the average is done very well. And the truth is that decade after decade, these smart aleck money managers, because they take a 2% fee or something like that out of it, and they have their trading costs in and out, and trading costs cost you something. It's frictional cost, it's sometimes called, in and out. They, over a decade, practically none of them have beaten the index, but they want to take your money to manage it for you because they're so much smarter than you in the market. But so in the long run, you'll have a lot of fun seeing how well your small investments do, and I wish you great luck. And in the long run, you may want to relax and just let the market be your guide. And the average, but average has been awfully good.
Yes. Well, I couldn't have put it better myself, I guess, but I wouldn't actually know what to say. But yes, there's a lot. There's a lot to it.
Let me offer you a comment that that makes sense to me, and you might want to think about it a lot. Winston Churchill was known in the free world during World War II as a man who had a tremendous command of the English language. It's said of him, he mobilized the English language to the defense of the free world, and so he was noted as being able to say the right thing at the right time. But one of his famous comments is, making great use of my well recognized. He wasn't quite this pompous about it, but my well recognized command of the English language, I chose to say nothing. And what I'm suggesting to you is that you might want to give that thought, that because if you have nothing to say, it's not necessary to say it. That may sound blunt, but it's something to keep in mind. If you have nothing to say, don't bother saying it, because too many people feel they need to fill the time and the space, as I am doing now, with their wisdom, which may or may not be abundant.
Oh, I think it is abundant, and yes, but I understand that, and yeah, sometimes I'm saying something and I don't know if it's really important, but
and if in doubt, leave it out.
Well, that's a good idea. Yes. Annie?
And having given you the wisdom of the ages, of which I am aged, I would I'd let you out. Or just, Annie, let's see, your car is here, so if I let you out here too, you'll drive home. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, good from here.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask if you had anything to say about that, Annie. That's what I was
talking.
saying.
How much there is to talk about?
Well, also the other things that Papa talked about, like with Warren Buffett and other things about that earlier. Just
yes. Buy low, sell high, or
well,
you can't beat that advice.
That's good. That's the smartest thing that's been said all night.
yes.
Good for you, Annie.
I love it. Oh, that's fun. Oh, God.
Well, I appreciate it, Papa.
Okay, great.
And
good to be with you, amigo.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye, Arthur.
And
we'll see you. And I imagine we'll see you before we leave.
yeah, we'll see you very soon.
Looking forward to being out with Zoe and Julie and John and seeing them.
And let's see, Haley Mary.
Yes. Well,
Okay, I'm done with this.
That's great.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
well, we're always very grateful to hear from you, and
Okay, honey.
always great to hear your advice. One thing I feel bad about that has happened recently is the stock price of rhodium has greatly increased since
And you sold yours.
you sold it, right, Papa?
Oh, I didn't sell it. It was yours.
You asked for your rhodium and you sold it.
No. This might be good. This might be very good
What?
because it's still in the bank. Then it must
is?
still be in the bank.
Where
The
is
bank
it?
vault. It's in a bank vault in Wichita.
I thought you sold it, Arthur.
No one gave it to me. It's been sitting in a bank vault as far as I know. I remember I was emailing about it in 2019 earlier, and I was saying this might be good. This might be very good though.
Might be.
Papa, we went and saw it in a bank vault in Wichita somewhere.
It's in the what there.
We need to get down to the bank and take a look.
What we have is in the bank vault, so we could go look.
Okay, if you, I was emailing you about it, remember, and saying I wanted to sell because it had doubled its price.
And did you sell?
No, because I thought it wasn't given to me. It was sitting in a bank vault in Wichita. I don't have access to that bank vault, so I don't know how would I be able to sell. But I was counting on Papa to do that. But I'm glad you didn't, because the price has octupled now, and that would be very good to.
Okay.
That would be good. This is good.
We'll look.
This is good.
Hope.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
We'll take a look if it's
I
there.
know you did have it. I thought I'm like, no, I thought we had given it to you,
I
but
thought we'd given it to you and you sold it. I really think we did.
No, I never received the package by mail of 10 ounces of rhodium. No, I would have remembered that if I had gotten one.
Well, if it's not in the bank vault, we'll
Then
see.
we just lost $280,000. All right?
That'd be a
Because
shame.
you know what? The price of a rhodium right now went up 10 times.
Wow. Okay.
So I remember we bought it a long time ago for $1,300 per ounce, right? That's
I remember you bought it, and
Yeah.
and I didn't remember what we paid, but well, I sure hope you are
I
correct.
hope
and
you're
it's
correct,
still in
Arthur.
it went from 1,300 to fluctuating over the years. I watched it very carefully.
Good.
It went to like 2,600 at some point, like in 2015, and then it went back down, and then through 2017 and 2018, it was going back down, and I could have sold at that double point, but then I was just gonna wait for the next double point. So I saw in 2019 that it was at 2,800 approximately per ounce,
fair,
and
but
that's good. But
If we
that's when I
have
wanted
it,
to
it's
sell.
there. If we have it, it's in that bank vault. We'll take a look. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go to the bank next week, Melody.
As soon as possible, because now the price per ounce is 28,000.
Isn't that amazing?
It is remarkable. The price has skyrocketed. It is
All right,
literally off the charts.
Then Arthur,
What?
call me tomorrow, and we'll make an appointment to go to the bank together. Then.
As soon as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Interest bank?
Yeah,
Is it interest?
yeah,
Oh, okay. Annie,
All right.
Annie, we got to get up early tomorrow.
The bank doesn't open until a little later, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm all for finding out.
Yeah. I
That's
hope
great.
it's there because Dan.